Okay, Scrapbook Shelby here. Let's do part 2 of our gel medium and masking page. Okay, again, the original November class that everyone loved so much was this one. And to create this look, you're going to use the same technique that we used on part 1. Is you're going to die cut something out with whatever you may have, or use a commercial mask like the Ranger mask by Tim Holtz or whatnot. Alright, so you're going to use that same technique, and then what you're going to do is you're going to get a series of stamps. You can see I have quite a few there. And the difference here is instead of using a distress ink or one of the other ones that you have, you're going to use a real permanent archival ink. I love for this particular look to use the Stays On. So I'm going to use black here, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So you're just going to take a Mod Podge, forget the pun, of different stamps that you might have. So I've got several here that are going to work for me. And you're going to leave the mask on there, or what we've made as a mask. And this is a great one because it's already got a big, nice mix of different images on there. So I'm going to ink that up there. By the way, this whole technique is not mine to start with. I got the idea for this whole class from a video I watched with Heidi Swap. She did something similar when she was introducing her mega masks, and I really love the look. So this idea was taken from that. Alright, so I'm just going to start to add some images in there. You can see the butterfly wing and part of the clock. I know it doesn't look right, but we're not worried about looking for a nice, clean, crisp image. I know normally when you stamp, that's what you're looking for. In this case, we are not. We just want kind of shadows of images. Although I tell you, I really like that clock. Let's get that clock in there because that's just too cool, right? There we go. Nice bold one. Alright, this is kind of a travel destination type stamp, so we're going to get some of that in there. Okay, and then finally, and this is what I think really makes it as a script stamp. If you really want to be a well-rounded scrapbooker, you want to make sure that you have some kind of script stamp. Okay, I'm going to press really hard so that it gets really inside. Yeah, that's the tricky part. If you have trouble with that, try sticking a piece of foam. Normally when I'm going for clear images, I do this anyways, but for something like that, see, that kind of works better because it lets the paper sink into the stamp, okay? And by doing that, you're going to get that image. You pull that away and you get a really cool look there, okay? And what I did here was I did a darker mask with a lighter one and then a lighter one still, okay? But I want to show you, using the same kind of idea, a completely different look. So we're going to get rid of that, and this is really the good paper that we want to use. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cutout that came from our makeshift mask here, alright, that's all it is. I'm going to put that down in the corner. Now, I'm just going to let it go, but if you think you might have trouble with it, just get some removable adhesive and put that down underneath, okay? So what I'm going to do is, I think since we had trouble, this is a plastic table. Sometimes it's easier to stamp on a wood table because it doesn't give. So I'm going to put that foam underneath again. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just take a hodgepodge of stamps. And you could do multiple generations on this. It does not have to be all newly stamped. Nor does it have to be a clear box. Okay, so that was one. I'm going to go back to this little travel stamp. And you're not going to move, like I just did, that little cutout. You're going to leave that there. And you're just going to start to layer some stamps on there. So let's go back and get this butterfly and clock. That was really pretty. Moving it a little bit, so let me get that back there. There we go. Just like that. Okay. Now, that's an archival ink, and that will set really fast. It dries fairly quickly. We're going to leave this little piece in place here, and we're going to go back to our distress inks. I'm going to cover this up. These solvents inks, think of them like permanent markers. Once you get them on something like clothing and tables and whatnot, they really don't want to come out. I do notice that the blending solution from the alcohol inks, the stuff that goes with the alcohol inks, it will actually take some of this out sometimes, but I don't know if they're really supposed to go together, so you didn't hear that from me. Okay, so I'm going to go back, and I think I'm going to use my broken china and my peeled paint again, because I'm just looking for my little block here, which has disappeared. Here it goes. We use it on the other page, and this is going to be a companion page to that. So I'm going to follow the same technique. I'm going to take some of the ink, wipe it off. Again, if you don't have a block, you can use a paper towel and blot it on there, wipe it on here, and start to spread it. But if you do have a block, great, even better. And I'm going to start to go around it. Now in this case, let's take the foam off. There's not as much work here as when you're doing the other one. You're just going to kind of shadow things a little bit. So I'm just going to add a little. Yeah, it's a mental note. Next time we do this, I'm going to get some removable adhesive. Make this easier. Okay, and then I'm going to get some of the blue in there. Put that on there. The reason you want to do the two different inks is if you used the distress ink for the stamping part of it, this would all start to meld together, and you wouldn't actually see the difference between the color in the background and the stamping. So by splitting up the two different inks, you get a clearer image of that. Alright, the other reason I like to use this technique is that you actually end up getting two for the price of one. Because when you're done, you get this cool looking little embellishment. Is that not the coolest thing? So that'll go great somewhere else on my page. And now I've also got here this cool little effect on the page going. So I can put a picture in there if I want. For that matter, I could have left this alone and just gone stamping all over and then put my picture on there. Or I can offset this, put some different colors on there to make that stand out. I'll be honest, I don't like the shape of the fleur-de-lis in this particular. The last time I did this, I did it with a heart and with a star, and it looked fabulous. So that's also a lesson learned with this takeaway. I'm by no means perfect. I'm not the artist some of these brilliant people on the web are, but hopefully I help you create some of your own beautiful pieces. So again, I'll finish this in a couple days, but in the meantime, you can go onto the Scrapbook Shelter Forum and see this whole layout for your reference. Just one more quick mental note on how I did the rest of this page. If you look up closely, I just sanded the edges with some sandpaper, and I added some pink inking. I just went in the background to make the matte, to make it match a little bit better. And for these chipboard letters, I just painted them pink and then took that same script stamp and stamped over them with the archival ink. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Scrapbook Shelby.